So I'm back with another what I watched in the last month, which is for the month of June. And I really like these videos, so hopefully you guys like them too. I just feel like it's fun to recap some of the best movies and TV shows that I saw in the last month. And I like watching other people make these videos because then I get ideas of what I want to watch. If you guys do like these style of videos, please let me know. Leave a comment down below and like the video because that'll tell me to keep doing them. But I do enjoy making them. So, by the way, I'm going to mention 17 different films and TV shows, mostly films and mostly new films that we saw this month, which is a really good month for movies. I'm surprised. The last 2 months I've been doing this, is my third time doing this. I didn't watch as many new things as I saw this month. So a lot of new films, a lot of really good films to mention. So kind of excited to talk about this month. So I also want to start off by saying I have not watched Cruella yet. I thought I would. Haven't gone around to it. Maybe we'll wait till August at this point. Maybe we'll give in and watch it beforehand. I don't know. In August it'll be free. We're almost there. We'll see. But there will be some Disney movies in this list. But I wanted to start off actually with a show that I just finished like watching a few days ago, and it's kind of like still in my head. And it's Cruel Summer. It's one of those shows that people have been talking about on Instagram, and I had been seeing it kind of circulating, so I was curious. I didn't think I would like it. I thought it was going to be a little bit more high school like type of show, and actually it was actually really good, and it was a really easy binge. I think I watched the whole, it's only one season. I think I watched the whole thing in like a matter of 4 days maybe. I think it's a total of 10 episodes, so it's really easy to just kind of like go right through them. If you don't know, Cruel Summer came out this year. It is on Hulu, and it's like a thriller mystery. I like that the show takes place in the course of over 3 summers. It's all set in the 1990s. And the way they kind of represent the 3 summers is that they do a thing where the color of the scene is different. So for example, like if it's the first summer, the colors are bright, and then the second summer it's like a little bit more dim, and then the third summer it's not black and white, but it's almost like black and white. It gets really dark. They go back and forth a lot, so I thought it was a cool way to kind of represent what year they're talking about or what summer they're talking about. But basically, if you don't know the plot, in a nutshell, not to say too much, a girl goes missing and some other girl kind of takes over her life a little bit. It's definitely not what it seems. It's one of those shows that I went into it thinking something and then I left pleasantly surprised. It's way more dark and way more deep than I thought it would be, and I really liked it, and it kind of has a plot twist at the end a little bit. But what's weird is that it did get renewed for season 2, and it's kind of strange because I thought it wrapped up at the end pretty much. Like I thought we were done with the show. But there's gonna be a season 2, and they did kind of introduce a little tiny thing at the very end that kind of led to the idea that maybe there could be a season 2, so I guess that's why they did it. But I don't know, I kind of felt like I was good with the first season. Like they wrapped up the story, it's all done. It kind of reminded me of, there's a show called The Night Of, and it was also just 1 season. And it was like just like a little story that they told over a series of episodes in 1 season, and at the end it's all wrapped up and the story's over, and I liked that concept. I thought that's how Cruel Summer would be, but I guess we're gonna keep going with it. So honestly, not mad about it. I would watch season 2, so I'm looking forward to that. So one of the Disney movies that we saw this month is Luca, which I actually thought was really good. I really enjoyed Luca. I thought it was such a cute Pixar movie. Pixar really cannot do wrong, to my opinion. I always love almost every single Pixar movie. It's currently on Disney Plus if you want to watch it. It's set in the Italian Riviera, and it's about these sea monsters who kind of transform into humans when they go on land. And there's a boy who, kind of like Little Mermaid a little bit, he wants to stay on land and he wants to live as a boy and not as a sea monster. And it's kind of, you know, the parents are scared, they don't want him to do that, and I liked the metaphor and the message behind it. I know that people say that the metaphor was towards pride, and it's definitely not obvious, but I think if you start to see like what the bigger picture is telling you in the movie, I like the idea of, you know, spreading the awareness of acceptance and being who you are and not being afraid of who you are, and I like the message of the movie. I thought it was also just a really cute, entertaining movie, honestly. On the other hand, we also watched Raya the Last Dragon. And that one, I don't know, I thought it was okay. I didn't find it super entertaining. I didn't think it was that great. I mean, obviously, if you don't know, it's another Disney movie. It's on Disney Plus as well. And it came out this year, and it's okay. I don't think it compares to Luca. I think Luca is way better of a plot and movie. I thought Ride the Last Dragon was entertaining, at least. It's basically about a girl who is tracking down the last dragon to save humanity. I thought it was okay. If you loved Ride the Last Dragon, comment down below and let me know. I think that if you were watching it with kids, maybe you would like it more. I'm sure kids enjoyed it. But I think Luca is the best Disney film I've seen so far this year, except I haven't seen Cruella. So, could change my mind about that. The next movie I'm gonna mention is a musical, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it or watched it. And I'm gonna have kind of a controversial like take on it, but In the Heights. I wasn't crazy about it. I hate to say that because I think a lot of people truly loved it, but I also am not crazy about Hamilton. So obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda is the guy who wrote the music for both In the Heights and Hamilton, and I love musicals, so it's nothing against musicals. I was never crazy about the music in Hamilton, so I guess it makes sense that I'm not crazy about the music in The Heights. And I thought the movie was okay, but I didn't think it was amazing. The kind of musicals I love are Chicago and Phantom of the Opera and Grease and Hairspray, Rent, Les Miserables. I love Mamma Mia, and I love all these movie musicals like Moulin Rouge. But this one to me is just, I don't know. I just didn't find it, I didn't think the songs were anything that I thought were addicting that I had to keep listening to, or that anything stayed in my mind. It was still a fun movie if you like musicals, and I thought it was entertaining, but it's not something that I want to rewatch. If you loved In the Heights, comment down below and let me know, but I still enjoyed it. It was fun to watch. I love the dances, I love the choreography. I just wasn't obsessed with it. So the next few films I'm going to mention are all new films as well, and I thought they were all pretty good, so it's a good streak that I'm gonna go for. The first one is called Safer at Home. Again, it did come out this year. It's currently on Hulu, and it is a thriller, horror, mystery. The same director as the movie Host, which came out last year during the pandemic. And this is the same kind of style. It's all filmed like in a Zoom meeting type of way, so it looks like you're watching everything from a laptop perspective, and I kind of love that. I think it's so fun to see movies in a different way, like kind of watching it like you're in a Zoom meeting with everyone. Host is more paranormal, and this one, Safer at Home, is more like crime, I guess, like real life crime style. It's not paranormal. It also takes place during the pandemic, which I thought was pretty cool. And it still has that quarantine concept that I think we're all over by now, but I still enjoyed it. I do think Host is better, so if you haven't seen Host, I do recommend that one more than Safer at Home. I can always appreciate a low budget film that actually is entertaining, and the idea that you can film a whole movie and everybody is in their own home filming their part is really cool. So I like the concept. And for each movie I mentioned, if you have watched it or if you have an opinion, please feel free to share it with me. I'm curious to know if anybody has seen these movies I'm gonna mention. But also, if you haven't seen these movies, hopefully I mentioned something you haven't heard of or maybe are curious to watch, and then you can let me know what you think. So the next one is The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Another horror. It was okay. I mean, I think the first Conjuring is gonna be the best, of course, and this one was entertaining, but it doesn't stand out from the other Conjurings. It's currently on HBO Max, and it also did come out this year, so it's another new movie. Basically, someone is accused of murder and they claim that the devil made them do it. It's based on a true story where someone was claiming that they were possessed by a demon, and that's why they did horrible acts. And I like the concept of that, but I just thought the scares and the overall style wasn't anything that I felt was so unique or so special. I still enjoy the first Conjuring more. Again, entertaining, at least. And we do love horror movies, so if you like horrors, it's worth watching. The next movie is called Awake, and it is on Netflix. It also came out this year. Again, a lot of the movies I'm gonna mention just came out this year. It is a sci-fi thriller catastrophe film, really. It's one of those films where everybody's just going crazy, and it's a lot, and it gives you a lot of anxiety, but it's actually a lot of fun, and I thought it was a great film and definitely worth watching. Kind of reminded me of Greenland, which we did watch. I believe that was last month. Greenland has like kind of a similar concept, a catastrophe film, but this one is based off the idea that there's something that is stopping everyone from being able to go to sleep, which I thought was a really unique concept. And basically they're trying to figure out a cure, because if nobody goes to sleep, then everyone's gonna die, and that'll be the end of humanity. So there's like, I think 2 people who can sleep, so they're trying to figure out a way they can get a cure, and everyone's going crazy basically because they can't sleep. And it's interesting to think about how if you don't sleep, you will go crazy. But the next movie is actually probably my favorite movie that we saw this whole entire month, and it's called Oxygen. It is also on Netflix, and it also came out this year, and it is a sci-fi thriller, I guess you would call it. And it's actually French, but we watched the English dub, and you know, it didn't really change the experience or anything. Basically, a woman wakes up in a chamber, like I don't know what you would call it, like she's in space. And she wakes up in a chamber that she can't get out of, and she doesn't know how she even got in there, and she's losing oxygen. And that's basically the premise. I mean, the whole movie takes place in this one chamber that she's in, which is really cool. I think anytime a movie can make something as simple as staying in the same place the entire movie and keep it interesting is something I respect. So the fact that it was really entertaining, we enjoyed it a lot, and it all took place in this one spot, it never really ventures away from there, is kind of crazy. And we thought it was really entertaining. And the actress, actually, her name is Melanie. She was in Inglourious Basterds. She was the Shoshana character in Inglourious Basterds, and she was my favorite character in that movie. So I really like seeing her again in a movie, because I haven't seen her in anything else. I mean, she's a French actress, and I don't really watch French movies, but highly recommend Oxygen on Netflix. Another Netflix film that I recommend that we did watch as well, and by the way, Oxygen and this next film I'm gonna mention are both films that I would have never known about or heard about if it wasn't for watching someone else's What I Watched in June video, or no, sorry, What I Watched in May. There's a girl called Sarah on YouTube. Her channel is Possessed by Horror. I love watching her, you know, review movies, and mostly she does horror movies, but she also does this style video that kind of inspired me, where you talk about everything you watched last month. And I enjoy watching those because I get to find out about new movies that sounded interesting, and again, I discovered these 2 new films thanks to her. So the next one's called The Discovery. And The Discovery is also on Netflix. It did not come out this year though. It actually came out in 2017, so it's not like a new film. But I really enjoyed it. It is a sci-fi, romance, thriller, I'm not sure, but it's definitely a romance. It stars Rooney Mara and Jason Segel, which I love Jason Segel. Basically, there's proof of an afterlife, so people start committing suicide because they now know that there is an afterlife, and it kind of plays with that concept. I don't want to, you know, say more than that, but it's definitely heavy on the concept of suicide, so I just thought, you know, you should know that before going into it. The movie is a little sad, I will say. It's not a happy movie, but I really liked it. Actually, it kind of reminded me of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Have you ever seen that movie with Jim Carrey and you enjoy that style? It's a little less trippy than that movie, because that movie has a little bit more like an artsy, you know, concept to it. This one is similar to that, but more normal, I guess you would say. Not so trippy. Another movie we saw this month that is new, that just came out actually, we watched it like literally 2 days ago maybe, or a day ago, is called False Positive. It's on Hulu, and it's an A24 film, so if you know anything about that, that's why we had to watch it. It's a thriller horror. It is about a woman who goes to a fertility doctor because she can't get pregnant, and then this doctor helps her get pregnant, but then once she gets pregnant, she feels something like sinister is going on. It's a cool concept. I wasn't obsessed with it. The ending's a little, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about it, but I thought it was entertaining still. I would say it was the same entertainment level as like The Conjuring 3, where it's a horror movie. It's actually not that much of a horror. It's less horror than I expected. It's a little bit more drama, but then like little hints of horror. The next movie I'm gonna mention is actually probably my favorite movie that we saw this month outside of Oxygen. I think Oxygen was my favorite movie, but I think this one is probably like a tie with that one, and it's called 8th Grade. And it's not a new movie. It came out, I believe, 2018, and it's on Hulu, but it was directed by Bo Burnham, which I've been talking about Bo Burnham for like the last 2 months. In each of these style videos I've been doing, like in what I watched in May and what I watched in April, I mentioned Bo Burnham somehow. So I thought I would continue that trend, because this is a movie he directed, which is really cool. Actually, one of the best films he watched this month, ironically. It's also a very simple film. It's nothing, the plot is not crazy, it's not full of, it's not a horror, it's not a thriller, it's just, I don't even know what kind of category it is. I guess it's a drama, It's basically just a kind of a film that follows this girl who's on her last week of 8th grade and kind of follows like the life and the mind behind a preteen who's kind of going through, I don't know, like the struggles of being no longer a kid and entering, you know, adolescence. And I thought it was really a great film. And sometimes it's interesting how the most simple films can be the most entertaining and have the most to offer without doing too much, you know? But I highly recommend 8th grade if you have not watched it, and if you are into Bo Burnham like we are, then, you know, maybe you'll enjoy that. So speaking of comedians, I've been kind of on a trend in the last 2 videos where I've mentioned a stand-up comedy or some kind of comedy of some sort. I did not watch any stand-ups this month, but we did watch a comedian in a movie, so that counts. And this is actually new. It came out on Netflix. It is called Good on Paper, and it's the movie with Elijah Schlinger. I'm not sure how you say her last name. Schlesinger, I think. But it's on Netflix, and it is basically a true story that she has been telling in her stand-ups and on interviews. And it's about a guy she met on an airplane who she ends up getting involved with, who happens to be a compulsive liar and lies about everything in his life. And kind of an interesting story. Not an amazing movie, not super funny either, kind of an average movie, but the story itself and the concept of it was good, so I still enjoyed it. I just think that it wasn't like hilarious or super entertaining. It's just, I like the fact that it's a true story. I like that she kind of used something in her life to create a movie out of, and something that she talks about in her stand-ups. And speaking of comedians in movies, I actually watched a really random film that I think I've seen before and I didn't remember it, or if I had seen it, I didn't remember anything about it. And it's called Trainwreck, and it has Amy Schumer. It came out in 2015 and it's on Hulu now. I really clicked on it because of Bill Hader. I really like Bill Hader. I'm not crazy about Amy Schumer, but it was okay. It wasn't like super funny, and it was kind of a romance, which I liked, which I wasn't expecting actually. I thought it was gonna be more like a comedy. It's a comedy romance, but to me it was more romance than comedy. Amy Schumer plays an Amy Schumer-like character who falls in love with Bill Hader character, and she tries to be better as a person. That's the goal. That's the whole concept. It's okay. I just clicked on it one night and ended up watching it, and it was fine, but it wasn't anything out of this world, I'm not gonna lie. So the next 3 things I'm gonna mention are TV shows, and then the last one will be a movie. So I wanted to mention a show that we ended up watching the entire 4 seasons of. It's only 4 seasons, and we watched the entire thing in a month, and we really enjoyed it, and it's called Baskets. And this is a show that is a dark comedy, and it came out like I think in 2016. It's currently on Hulu, and it was created by Louis C.K. and Zach Galifianakis. And if you like Zach Galifianakis, you're gonna see a lot of him in this show. He plays a guy named Chip who wants to be, well, Chip Basket, who wants to be a clown, and he also plays his twin, Dale. That's kind of the idea of the show, but the clown part of it isn't really the main plot point. There's a lot more to it. In fact, the best part of the show wasn't the Zach Galifianakis characters. It's the mother, her name's Christine in the show, and she's played by a man, Louis Anderson, I believe his name is. He's amazing. He was easily the best part of the show, and if there's anything worth watching for that show, it's because of the mother, Christine. 4 seasons flew by in a month, so I don't know. If you like dark comedy, maybe you'll like it. Okay, just to skim by 2 shows that are currently going on that we have not finished because we couldn't be able to, it's still going on. One of them is Loki on Disney+. Obviously, there's only like, what, 4 episodes so far, so can't really say too much about it. I'm sure everybody's watching that show. Pretty good. Not a crazy fan of Marvel, but I really did like WandaVision, so I have high hopes for this one, and so far, so good. I have been enjoying it. Tom Hiddleston, I like him. Hiddleston, is that how you say his name? I like him, so that helps too. And then the other show is Dave, and this is currently season 2, which we saw season 1 like maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. I don't know when it came out. It's on Hulu as well. It's a comedy. It's about it's based on the rapper Lil Dicky. If you don't know about him, then I guess you would need to first make sure you like him as a person before you can get into the show, because the show is basically just him. It's fun. It's a comedy. We actually really enjoy it. But again, we're only like 2 or 3 episodes into the 2nd season because each episode's getting released one by one, so we can't even watch it faster than that. I just thought I'd throw it in there because, you know, it is enjoyable if you like dark comedies, kind of. I don't know if it's dark comedy. Baskets is a dark comedy. I would say this one's just more like a really immature, stupid comedy, if that makes any sense. Like inappropriate comedy, I don't know. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna mention is a film that is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, which we had been watching a lot of his films recently. We started with watching Punch Drunk Love, and we thought that was good, so we started watching another one, and it was Hard 8. And now we just finished watching Magnolia, and it's not a new film, it's a 1999 film, but it's on Hulu, and it's a drama, and it's pretty crazy. It has a lot of actors in it. It had Tom Cruise, Julianne Moore, Philip Seymour Hoffman, John C. Reilly. It has like a total of, I believe it's 10 characters, and the whole movie is about these 10 characters and how they all kind of like connect into one story, and it's a lot of random, I don't know, I can't even begin to explain the plot. It's a lot, but it's good. And I just like Paul Thomas Anderson films. They're kind of strange and weird, and they make you kind of confused at the end, but then you're like, I like that. I don't know. Not for everyone, probably. And if you have seen Magnolia, I would love to hear what you think, because I know it's an older film, but we just saw it, so it's kind of, you know, new for us at least. But yeah, basically that is what I watched in June. And I think I watched a lot of films that I thought were worth mentioning, and some that are okay, entertaining, you know. Would love to hear what your thoughts are. And I'm excited to see what we watch in July. I don't think it's gonna compare to June, but we'll see. Maybe we'll watch Cruella. Maybe not. Maybe we'll wait till it's free in August. But either way, it was still a good month for movies, and you know, a few good shows in there too. Also, feel free to share what movie or show you've been currently watching or really into this last month, and maybe I'll check it out for the month of July, so that'll be fun. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. It will help me out, and like the video, comment down below, and toodaloo.